Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. It is Tuesday. I guess I'm live. Here we go. Week 2 for my show. I'm super excited. This is what honesty feels like with Christine Sawicki. Thank you so much for tuning in again this week. I feel all alone in my studio. I have 2 guests. Unfortunately, they're just not here in studio, but they are fantastic. Incredible men. I'm blessed to have them on my show, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear about them. But let's talk about this week. I mean, we got, Tim Tebow going out this week. He got picked up by the Patriots. That's rather interesting, Tim Tebow. Isn't he a quarterback, and isn't Tom Brady pretty good? I'm slightly confused by that whole thing going down. So rather interesting. And then even in the press conference, the coach didn't really address any of where Tim Tebow is going to play. I mean, last I checked, he was a quarterback, and so is Tom Brady. So that was some rather interesting news here coming in for the NFL. And then other things going on. We had the Santa Monica shooting. My gosh, what's going on in today's world? It's kind of scary, people shooting. I feel like every other day I'm hearing about it. One day after another, at innocent souls, taking out 6 to 20 people at a time, children in schools. I mean, it's really starting to get a little scary out there. So I'm getting a little concerned, especially when something like a shooting becomes a normal conversation or a weekly thing or, a bi-weekly thing. So hoping something turns around in this world, because I was frustrated enough last week with the Cheerios thing. And so I was supposed to have a rapper on this week, but I really wanted to address racism. And so what I decided to do is I wanted to switch up my my lineup that I had here. And I actually went and I was combing through the internet, and I've never studied more in my life on 2 individuals. And what we're going to be talking about today is a pretty complex topic. It's really sensitive, but I want to bring it to the forefront. I want honest answers, and I want to know what's going on in this industry, because it's clear, based on the Cheerios that we covered, the Cheerios commercial, for those that weren't with us last week. Apparently it caused an uproar that there was a white woman with a black woman with a mixed child on the television. So I wanted to address that, and I wanted to address America, because we have listeners worldwide. I've got, people everywhere, and I thought we were past that. So I wanted to line it up with something that will address it head on in an industry that clearly it's still there, and that's auto racing. And the 2 individuals that I came across, like I said, I've never studied so much in my entire life. I came across 2 books. Silent Thunder and Racing While Black. And as most of you know, in auto racing, there's not a lot of African Americans in that industry, and I want to know why. I want to know why in today's society, what's going on? What are the true answers? And I need somebody to give me an answer that has been there and who has done that and who has been at the top. I don't want an answer from Joe Schmo who just watches the races at home. I want the answers from the people at the top, and I was fortunate enough to come across 2 individuals, Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller. And just to give you guys kind of a heads up as to how important this is, Leonard W. Miller was inducted into the Black Athletes Hall of Fame. And for those of you that don't know, that's a pretty important title. So I'm really excited to see what's going on. I want answers, and I'm really excited to have both of these males here today on my show, live from Washington, D.C., and from Philadelphia, what honesty feels like. And we're going to address racism in auto racing head on, and I want just hardcore answers. We're all humans here. We're all adults. So let's just talk about it. Let's figure out what's going on. So callers that are listening, tell me what your thoughts are. I mean, these guys are inside the racetracks day in and day out doing things. So I'd like to introduce Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller. Can you guys say hi?
Hi, Edgar.
I guess so.
We're glad to be here tonight.
You guys...
Glad to be here tonight, Christine. We're on Eastern time.
I know. You guys grab some coffee. Grab something. Do something. Thank you so much for coming on my show, you guys. You have no idea how much it means. It's really, really incredible. So I'm very lucky to have you here. And so let's start off. Leonard W. Miller, so can you guys just give a brief background on yourself? Just let the people know who you are. I mean, I can emphasize it with the Black Athletes Hall of Fame, and I know Leonard T. Miller, you've also, which is the son, you've been on, with Jay Leno and stuff like that. So this is a very solid father-son duo. So let's please talk about that. So just kind of tell us a little bit of background on yourself. We're gonna go right into it, because I have so many questions and I want answers from you guys.
Christine,
yes.
I've been around in and over and under race cars since 1939. My mother, out here in Pennsylvania, worked for some of the richest blue bloods in America. I was raised on an estate outside of Philadelphia in Wayne, Pennsylvania, and I learned about Indianapolis race cars before I learned about dirt cars or any other cars, because on the estate they talked about two things, the blue bloods of America, the Kentucky Derby and the Indianapolis 500. And that's how I learned the racing game through osmosis.
And this is Leonard W. Miller, correct? Is that who's speaking?
Yes.
This is the father of the two. Okay.
Yes, that's how I got started.
Wow. Okay. And Leonard T. Miller, which is the son. Tell us a little bit about you. There you are with Jay Leno. We're streaming live, guys, so we've got you with Jay Leno. Quite an accomplishment.
Well, obviously I'm second generation, so I grew up with my father when he had a sponsored team, national team, in the mid-'70s called Black American Racers, and he fielded a team in the first Long Beach Grand Prix, Long Beach, California, in 1975. He had a black driver. His name was Benny Scott from Los Angeles.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I saw that. I combed through all that. Mm-hmm.
And my father, at the time, we were living in New Jersey, so a gentleman by the name of Mel Layton, who was an African-American race car driver from Los Angeles in the 1930s and 40s, and also he was a friend of Jackie Robinson, who's from Pasadena. Mel Layton was a IndyCar official, so he traveled around with the IndyCar circuit from California to the East Coast, and of course the Indianapolis 500. And he introduced my father to Benny Scott in L.A. when he was in New Jersey. Mel Layton officiating a race at the Trenton Speedway in Trenton, New Jersey.
Well, isn't Benny Scott from Pasadena? Because I live in Pasadena now, and is that where you guys have met?
Yeah, he was born in Los Angeles and from Los Angeles, but he did live in Pasadena for a good 5 to 10 years.
Okay.
In and around L.A. He lived in Oxnard, he lived in Long Beach, he lived in Burbank, and he lived in Pasadena.
Okay, cool. And I know that I want to cover your guys' books because this is extremely important for me. Like I said, I combed through it. There's a lot of detail in these books. And I want to start with the one written by the father, Leonard W. Miller, and it's titled Silent Thunder. For those of you streaming live with us, we've got Silent Thunder, the book, up on the screen there. And so many questions. What was the experience like entering your black team, Leonard W. Miller, of American Racers, into the first Long Beach Grand Prix in 1975? What was that like? Because I can tell you right now, it's 2013, and we have an uproar on a Cheerios commercial about racism. So being an African-American going into a predominantly white sport, you got to tell me what that's like.
Going into the race, Christine, the race itself, everything went smoothly. The key was getting to the race.
Sure.
For the first thing, we were sponsored by Viceroy cigarettes, Champion Spark Plug Company, and Valvoline Oil. When we went to New York to work with the Ted Bates advertising agency in terms of getting the sponsorship to get there, we found that as the black team, we were looked at as giving us $50,000 or $100,000 when we needed $1 million to do the same thing that all the other major teams were trying to do. So the first thing is the money. We had to get and fight, and really, I almost had to jump on the conference table to
I can imagine.
And yell about, well, you can't sponsor us with a half a motor. We need a whole motor. You just can't. If a motor's $50,000, say for an Indianapolis a motor at that time, well, if we're getting sponsored for $20,000, well, where are we getting the rest of the other $30,000 for the motor to race properly and be sponsored? I mean, so it got into Christine. It got into the money.
The money,
and that was the main thing of getting corporate America to think this big, to think equal as it relates to sponsorship.
And in 1975,
getting there was a problem.
Yeah, 1975. I mean, convincing corporate America to invest in an African-American auto racing team. I mean, I can't even imagine those conversations. It's hard enough for me to just argue with somebody to get an actor on a movie right now in 2013, that's unknown or something. So it's like, what's going on? But 1975, and you're going into the number one, sport where it's predominantly white. I mean, I'm going to say Martin Luther King. You're trying to change an industry, which is amazing. And to even start that and to even, go into that and all the accomplishments that you guys have done, it's just beyond incredible. And so we're going to head to commercial here, but I want you guys to stick around because I have Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller, the African-American auto racing duo team, father and son, all the way from Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia, coming in live. And so please stick around. This is what honesty feels like. We're covering racism in auto racing, and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
The Three Guys Rant with Arvin, Mike, and Phil.
Coming to you on the Rant Radio Network every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can call us at 855-69 The Three Guys.
It's not The Three Guys. This is why you should turn in, because one has Tourette's, the other one's illiterate.
You really should listen in. You never know what's going to happen.
855-69 3 Guys. G-U-Y-S and the number 3, not the.
Faces for radio, voices for the deaf.
Look forward to talking to you.
Hey, I'm audio candy. I don't know about you guys.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on RantRadioNetwork.com.
DM Narc Radio Show is now airing on the Rant Radio Network. You've heard the Three Guys Rant refer to us as the Clam Chowder Power Hour. Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
We're the Brothers Bear Podcast Live, and I'm your host, Sanj, and I'm always joined by
Edgar, Carlos Mandrano, and this is a show where we talk about comics, movies, TV, video games, stand-up, music, and many more geeky things. Catch us live on Rant Radio Network on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's another commercial in the back.
Hi, I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez.
And I'm Kelly V. Dolan.
And we are excited to announce our show Live with Aaron and Kelly is on Rant Radio Network. What do we talk about on our show, Kelly?
We talk about everything from entertainment to business and tech, and we have a few laughs in between.
That's right. Go check us out on rantradionetwork.com.
Check it out.
Hey, Hey, this is Phil with the Three Guys Rant. Make sure to join us Thursday, Pacific Standard Time from 5 to 6 as we welcome our special guest and the sultry sounds of Becca Bateau. She is the voice author and book reader of 50 Shades of Grey. For those of you that don't know who it is, you will after Thursday. Check it out.
And welcome back, everybody. This is Christine Sawicki on What Honesty Feels Like. Welcome to our show. For those of you that didn't catch the first part of it, the beginning segment, we are talking with two amazing men, a father and son auto racing duo, Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller. And we're going head on. We're talking about racism in the auto racing world and what that's like. And like I said, for those that weren't here for my first show, we're talking about racism because of the Cheerios commercial and what the uproar, what uproar that caused in 2013. And so I have questions. I want my questions answered. This is what honesty feels like, and this is the truth, you guys. So you're hearing it from the top. And right now I'm going to ask, I'm going to go right into it because there's so much I want to discuss and I don't want to leave anything out. So Leonard W. Miller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I want to know, at that time, and as even in today's society, what was it like to be inducted into the Black Athletes Hall of Fame? That is an incredible accomplishment. So you got to tell me what that's like.
It was at the New York Hilton, and there were like 800 people there, and the great black athletes of the time were inducted, and no one. We pulled up with a limousine. Lenny's in the limousine. The family's in the limousine, and all these hotshot photographers were taking pictures of Joe Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe and all these great Howard Cosell and on and on. And we pull up to the curb, and here the racers, we get out, and people said, "Who's that?"
You're like, "It's me."
Yes,
it's Leonard W. Miller. I'm making a difference in the world. Okay.
Yes.
Did you cry? I want to know. Did you cry? Because I'm pretty sure I would cry.
No, I got him back. So when it came time for the induction and give your remarks, I had the audience cry. I had Harry Belafonte's wife, Bill Cosby's wife, and some other prominent black women and singers of the day and all. When I got through telling about what we went through in racing, they cried. Lenny will tell you, Lenny was there. They literally cried. And Don King, he always tries to speak eloquently and try to grab the microphone and take the day. But that night, I outshined Don King.
You blew him out of the water,
huh? And everyone else. And when they left there, they knew who we were.
That's fantastic. So so you're mentioning Bill Cosby and all those guys, right? So what role did the actor Bill Cosby, what did he play? What role did he play at the Black Athletes Hall of Fame? And you're mentioning a bunch of celebrities. I actually know the Smoking Joe Frazier's son Derek. I'm actually putting together a show with him right now. But what other celebrities were there? But what role did Bill Cosby play at that event?
He was the master of ceremonies. He did all the quips as we came up, and he took a picture with all the recipients. In fact, in Silent Thunder, you'll see a picture with Bill Cosby and myself in there. And I know Bill Cosby, and he gave me words of encouragement. In fact, he was one of the only Lenny. Remember, he was only 2 or 3 people that gave me real encouragement to keep going.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine. Like I said, I mean, when you're an oddball out, and by meaning oddball, when you are an African American guy walking into a predominantly white sport, I mean, I myself, I'm that way. I'm in the entertainment industry. I take the industry head on. I'm not going to sleep with you to get a job. I'm not on the sleeping couch. I am smart. All this other stuff. And I am the biggest outsider from looking in. It's like they're appalled that I actually have morals. So I can imagine what it's like in 1975. I mean, I can't even imagine that. It's got to be, though, the best feeling in the world. And you're right. People are scared to encourage you. And not because they don't agree with you. It's just what I seem to find is that even if they agree with you, maybe they've got a job or something. Like, it takes a lot to go against the status quo or what is of the norm. I mean, and to be somebody like that, the pushback that you're getting on something like that, one can't even imagine unless you do it yourself. I mean, I like I said, me going into meetings, I don't even want to hear about you trying to sleep with me. I don't even want you to see me as a female. I just want you to see me as a business person, and that's just not normal where I am, And I have a very hard time, and because I am the way I am, I get a lot of backlash because you're going against something that's been traditional for years and years and years. So that's that's amazing to me. So thank God for guys like you, out there, because it's people like you that make a change in the world, that have the strength to make a change. And so I think it's wonderful. This just goes to show, I have a tweet that came in. It says, "You mean they don't let me drive fast because I'm white?" I don't know. I'm going to address that tweet right here because, no, if you're listening to the show, they're saying the difficulties of being African American and being in the auto racing industry. This is a very serious conversation. I don't know what kind of garbage that is, but it's like, this is a serious topic, okay? So I want to talk to what was it like when you changed from prestigious road racing and hanging out with I'll use the word stuff here because I'm stuffier. What's it like changing from, the road racing and like the wine and cheese kind of crowd, that's me, and then going into, into the Grand Prix circuit to the South and NASCAR racing with I got plenty of Southern friends and I love them, but they are Southern and they are rednecks. So what is that like? I mean, going from one culture.
I was prepared for it, and Lenny has gone to the track with me since he's 3 years old, all the way from the road racing, dirt track racing, go-kart racing, Indianapolis, Long Beach, and NASCAR. The key, I was ready for the NASCAR southern, rural, very set in their way, racist type environment, because I happened to be in the 1950s. I was like everyone, was drafted in the United States Army, and I went into the United States Army as a college graduate, and I can always pass tests in the highest percentile. So in the Army test, Christine, they had 7 sectors. Automotive was one of the tests. So I got 92 to 98 on all the tests, and the recruit down at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, they said, "Look, pick what you want." So I picked automotive,
right?
Because I love it, and so they said, "No, you need to be a lieutenant." I said, "No, I want to go into automotive." So I report up to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to the automotive. They put me in a special company, direct automotive support, that's training for emergency repairs on vehicles on combat. Like the specialist, it's only one special unit in the United States Third Army. So I'm going down with my duffel bag. I'm getting to your point. I'm going down down the street with my duffel bag, Christine, and looking for the automotive, the automotive company,
right?
That I've signed to. So I meet these I meet the black soldiers in the ammunition company, and they say, "Hey, bro, you're coming here to be with us?" I said, "No." I said, I'm looking for the automotive emergency repair." They said, "You're going down there with those hillbillies and NASCAR types?" I said, "NASCAR types?" He said, "Man, there's nothing but a whole bunch of hillbillies down there." So I go into the company. There's 202 men in the company. 100 of them were dirt track racers in NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR. And there was like two blacks.
Of course, two blacks. That's it.
Two blacks. And in fact, we're the first two blacks ever in a company like that. So because everything had been integrated, the Army had just been integrated.
Sure.
But I'll tell you, so I'm used to the courageousness that they have. That if I had to go in the Army right now, when it comes to battling and fighting to the end, the NASCAR types, they don't mind getting in the dirt. They don't mind climbing up under trucks. They don't mind they'll work in the rain, in the snow.
Oh, I love it.
Whatever it takes, and they don't fear. They don't fear anything. So I had, with that experience that I had in the United States Third Army, which the NASCAR guys are really proud of being in the United States Third Army, because that's the strongest army America has ever put on the battlefield. And so these guys are gung-ho things. So if they call, even if they call me the N-word or something like that, so we'll have to fight. I just have to fight, go to the guardhouse or whatever we got to do. But once they find what I found out in any American, when they find that you know how to tune the carburetors and you have pull that motor and you're not afraid down there in the water, guys will work with you. So when I went down into NASCAR, I had good experience with the NASCAR folks in the 50s. When I couldn't even go in the restaurant with the guys.
I think that is incredible, because I myself, I know so many people in the South. I love them. All my hillbilly friends. A shout out to all of them.
Yes.
They make me laugh. I love them. They are who they are. I know a lot of country folk. Real entertaining crowd. But we're gonna finish it for right now. But we're gonna come back after the commercial. This is a fantastic interview with Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller, the father and son auto racing duo. Stick with us, you guys. We're going to have Leonard T. Miller speaking next after the commercial.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmark, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
Hey, bro, this is a good game. You know what would make it better?
What, bro?
A michelada.
A michelada? What's a michelada?
A michelada is somewhere in the middle of a Mexican Bloody Mary and a Mexican margarita.
Oh, I got you covered, bro.
You got a cup in your pocket?
No, sir. I got my pocket-sized michelada. Mucho macho michelada.
Pocket size?
Pocket size, so you can take it with you anywhere you go.
Where'd you get that at?
At the nearest convenience store, and you can also buy it at muchomachomichelada.com.
You know what will make it better? After we get drunk, if they had a line we can call.
We can call their drunk line. You can leave a message and then log on to the site and listen to your stupidity afterwards.
What's that number?
It's 855-MICHE-69.
What's that number again?
855-MICHE-69.
Awesome. Mucho macho michelada.
Ticketsurgeon.com. Reach us at 855-WIN-4-199.
Did you get caught speeding, texting while driving, or doing anything else you weren't supposed to do?
Give us a call. Don't miss work. Don't lose out on the money. Don't get any more points. What about your insurance? Let us fight for you. Ticketsurgeon.com at 855-WIN-4-199.
Welcome to the Monster Marketing Group, your one-stop shop for all your marketing needs. Anything you need to make that marketing and advertising campaign stand out, we're your people. Concepts, design, production, social media, anything that you can dream up, we're going to make happen for you. And we can do it in a very quick turnaround. Please give us a call at 888-49-MONSTER.
Hey, this is Phil with the Three Guys Rant. Make sure to join us Thursday Pacific Standard Time from 5 to 6 as we welcome our special guest and the sultry sounds of Becca Bateau. She is the voice author and book reader of 50 Shades of Grey. For those of you that don't know who it is, you will after Thursday. Check it out.
Okay, for those of you joining us now, you're listening to What Honesty Feels Like with Christine Sawicki. If you're just joining us, we have Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller, the African-American auto racing duo, father and son, here with us live. And it's really been an amazing conversation. We are addressing racism in auto racing. Leonard W. Miller, the father, has been inducted to the Black Athletes Hall of Fame. And also we have his son, Leonard T. Miller, who has been, you can see him on Jay Leno, and both of them, both have written books, and quite an incredible duo here. So I'm just going to go right back into it. We've got Leonard T. Miller. You there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, this is the son now. We're talking to the son. So I want to know, where did you find your African-American driver, Chris Woods, in the 90s? How'd you find him?
Yes, it's an interesting story. Like we talked about in the first half of the show, my father and I, we pretty much, being educated and sophisticated, we liked and gravitated to the sophisticated road racing and the Long Beach Grand Prix, Indy cars. And then when NASCAR really started to explode in the late 80s, going into 1990, we went to several Fortune 500 companies at the decision-making level, usually like the vice president of marketing for North America, was in charge of all the budgets. And at that time, because of NASCAR's explosion, they did not want to entertain any proposals for the Indy 500s or sports car or wine and cheese type racing. Everything was NASCAR. Their competitors were in NASCAR. NASCAR had the buzz in all the newspapers and magazines throughout America. And we had to just change our whole plan and shift to stock car racing and start looking at Charlotte, North Carolina. So my father had a good friend at that time. His name was Joe Gerber, and he was a second-generation Jewish racing promoter. His father had promoted stock car races and different races in the Philadelphia area back in the 40s and even before World War II in Philadelphia at the Yellow Jacket Speedway, where the Philadelphia International Airport is today. And he knew we were on the lookout for a black stock car driver, so he was promoting a race up in Massachusetts, west of Boston, and he discovered Chris Woods at 20 years old, and he was winning races at the entry levels of classes of stock car racing in Massachusetts.
Oh.
And he called my father up at midnight one night, and said, I got the kid. He speaks well. He's a black kid that speaks like JFK.
Oh,
like
wow.
a JFK New England accent. He's up here winning races. You need to get up here right away. So my father had a friend that had a manufacturing business in northern New Jersey. He had a private airplane. And he flew my father in the private airplane up to Massachusetts, like an hour flight, to watch him race one night. And then that's how we were introduced to Chris Woods.
Wow.
And to make a long story short, Chris Woods was his parents had left him. They actually left him in a basement with a dead dog, like he was abandoned.
That's disturbing.
So a white racing family named the Fullers, who were great racers in Massachusetts and went into NASCAR in the 90s, and for a few years they made a name for themselves at some of the top rungs of NASCAR as it exploded into the 90s. So Chris, when he was adopted by this white racing family, the Fullers in Massachusetts, all they did was race. So he learned how to drive, how to set up cars, how to work engines, how to fix a wreck, get it ready for the next race. All he knew was racing, and he worked at a car dealership. So we went down to North Carolina. I went down there first to Charlotte. I didn't know anyone, and I had to get Chris a job, find a place for him to live.
Oh, wow.
He's never had a resume. He didn't know how to fill out an apartment application. I helped him out with all of that and got him a job at a dealership, found a place for him to live 2 miles from the Concord Motor Speedway.
Which is amazing. And Lenny, we actually have a caller that has a question. So one moment, okay? Just a second.
Okay.
And caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Do we have everyone? Lenny and Leonard?
Yes.
Well, everyone's here? Okay, and what's your name, caller?
My name is Raphael. I'm from Pasadena.
Hey, Raphael. How are you?
Good, good. Just wanted to call and just let you know I'm a huge fan of the show. And my friend Rigo and I, we wanted to know when your movie was coming out.
Oh, I don't know where this came from, but when is my movie coming out? Oh my gosh, that's it's a little ways out, but I'm not real sure. This is a great question for a very serious conversation. It actually lightens it up a little bit. We're actually discussing right now racism in auto racing. So, but as far as my movie coming out, it's to be determined. So you got to stay tuned into the show to find out more on that.
Well, we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully it comes out soon because we're really excited. We're going to be first in line, too.
Oh, you guys are really sweet. Well, you have to say hello to Leonard T. Miller and Leonard W. Miller. You're talking to two incredibly sophisticated men that have made a world of a difference in the auto racing world. So you should probably say hi to them because you don't get to talk to people like this every day.
Hi, Leonard. Hi, Leonard. Okay.
How you doing there, Raphael?
Good. We're excited. We're excited to be on the show.
Oh, you guys are really sweet. Well, thanks for calling in, you guys.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Thanks, Leonard and Leonard.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
And I think everyone's still good. We still got everybody on the line?
Yeah.
Well,
so we found, we were talking about Chris Woods, so we get him down to North Carolina.
Yep.
So the third thing was to find a race shop and a race car. So at the Concord Motor Speedway, which was a half-mile oval high bank track for racing for a lot of people, a lot of drivers to develop themselves to get ready for the big league. So this is kind of like AAA baseball racing, where you race every Saturday night under the lights. There's 5,000, 8,000 people in the stands every Saturday from March to October. So the racetrack facility had about 15 race shops on the property, which was good for us because we could actually drive the race car up to the racetrack. We didn't need a truck or trailer. And found this gentleman. He was a driver from Milwaukee. Are you still there?
Yeah, we're here. Keep going.
Just get a little tone there. So we had a driver from Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
Driver from Milwaukee who was getting divorced.
Oh,
He had to sell all his racing equipment overnight. He had a race car, he had an engine, truck, trailer, spares. And his wife got a lawyer, and his wife was even knowledgeable about all the parts, welding machines and all this apparatus. She wanted all that dragged up to Milwaukee to the courthouse.
Really?
So I made a fire sale deal in the middle of the night and paid him about $20,000 in cash with $100 bills.
Really?
For everything he had in the shop except for the engine, because we didn't need the engine because that was in a different class that we were going to race in. And it took from 8 o'clock at night till 2 o'clock in the morning to pull the engine out and inventory everything he had and lay it out on the floor and then give him the cash. And that was in 1994. And then that's how we started racing down in Charlotte and Concord, North Carolina, which is the nucleus of stock car racing. That's like Hollywood and Beverly Hills is the entertainment. Charlotte, North Carolina is the stock car racing. That's where all the marketing people are. That's where all the craftsmen are, all the mechanics, the drivers. That's where the toughest competition for stock car racing is in America.
Okay. Well, I know that you also Leonard T. Miller, which is the son, wrote a book called Racing While Black. Can we get that up on the screen for everybody that's streaming live with us? I want you guys to see this book. I myself have read it. It, in great detail, goes, into Lenny's experience here in auto racing and what that was like with him and his father. So if we could just get that up there. There it is, Racing While Black. And I want to know another question. How come you don't see many African-American owned teams and drivers in NASCAR, or for the fact, any type of auto racing? With all the research I've done and all the stuff I've combed through, I don't see very much. What's going on? How come we don't see any of that?
It's not even one straight answer. It's very complex, where the racing, like any other sport, maybe horse racing too, you need a lot of money to field the race car. You can't show up in your tennis shoes or your sneakers and play and run or bounce a ball and play the sport and develop yourself physically.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a lot of money to show up. So when you go to corporations, and what my father and I found, and we've talked to about 60 Fortune 500 companies at the decision-making level over a 15-year span, most of those companies have diversity divisions that have been created around the early 80s. They have community affairs divisions and groups within the company, and those divisions were set up to keep Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton in the civil rights groups from challenging them from not having enough black executives or black employees or treating blacks fairly in the workplace.
Wow.
So as those divisions developed, they became handout divisions, and they became ceremonial divisions to get photo ops with black groups to get into the press throughout America to show everyone that we're fair, but in actuality, it's just ceremonial, and they're doling out handouts and crumbs.
That's a devastating thing, because
So when we go into the corporation and say we have a race car, and half of these companies have been in racing or they've been active in racing for decades, especially like an oil company, and even some non-automotive companies like some of the soft drink companies, beer companies, they've been in racing for several years. So they know the business, they know what it takes, they know the expense. They would look at us, and my father and I are sophisticated and very educated and experienced because we come from the Long Beach Grand Prix. Father had a car in the Indy 500. They would agree with all of the components of the proposal, agree that it's added value and has a worth, but they don't want to sign the check. They want us to hold off until the following year and come back. Some will just actually lie and say that their fiscal year has expired, come back next year. Or they would say, go down you guys are black.
That's
go down
one thing that
your community affairs and get basically a handout.
Yeah, putting money on the table is one thing. We're actually going to talk about that right after the commercial, because everybody can talk about whatever, but when you're cutting a check, it's a whole other story. So we'll address that right after the commercial. You're listening to What Honesty Feels Like with Christine Sawicki.
Easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizzas with handmade dough, 100% real cheese, and tomato sauce blended with our own spices. Nothing is ever frozen. We always have large pepperoni and cheese pizzas fresh and waiting for you for only $5. Or choose one of our specialty pizzas. We have veggie, meat lovers, supreme, and Hawaiian. Add an order of our amazing hot wings, cheesy bread, or breadsticks. Our locations are ultra-modern, ultra-clean, and open 7 days a week. Visit any one of our locations today, or check us out on the web at www.piarapizza.com. Piara Pizza. Fresh, hot, and ready for you when you come in. Stop in for your Piara Pizza today.
A home is the biggest investment in most people's lives. Buying or selling should be a positive experience.
Whether you want to be a wealthy real estate investor or just trying to find a place to call home. At AJR & Associates, we focus on the client's needs.
We understand the market better than most. Let us bring the value to you and make the right choice.
AJR & Associates, making your dream house a reality. Call us today for a free consultation at 562-842-7149. or you can log on to www.agrrealtors.com.
With a track record of great results, bringing knowledge, wisdom, and expertise to you. Hablamos español.
We're the Brothers Bear Podcast Live, and I'm your host, Sanch, and I'm always joined by
Edgar, Carlos Mandrano, and this is a show where we talk about comics, movies, TV, video games, stand-up, music, and many more geeky things. Catch us live on Rant Radio Network on Mondays from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m.
That's another commercial in the back.
What up, foodie freaks? It's Chef Bev Lazo with the Culinary Trend Show. Join me and my brigade every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m. where we will be cooking up some crazy stuff that will give you the appetite for discussion. It's all about the good food, good friends, and good times. Only here on rantradionetwork.com.
Hey, this is Phil with the Three Guys Rant. Make sure to join us Thursday Pacific Standard Time from 5 to 6 as we welcome our special guest and the sultry sounds of Becca Bateau. She is the voice author and book reader of 50 Shades of Grey. For those of you that don't know who it is, you will after Thursday. Check it out.
DM Narc Radio Show is now airing on the Rant Radio Network. You've heard the Three Guys Rant refer to us as the Clam Chowder Power Hour. Now we get to bring our New England humor over to Los Angeles. We'll be airing Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 Eastern, and we'll cover everything from local to national politics and news. Guess what? We're uncensored too. I'm Dave. Join me and Nick Friday on the Rant Radio Network.
Okay, so welcome back, everybody. This is What Honesty Feels Like with Christine Sawicki, and we have a super intense topic right now. We're addressing racism in auto racing, and we actually have a caller that I want to put in. And unfortunately, we only have about 12 minutes left on the show, and I have tons of questions for Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller. So I'm going to roll as fast as I can. I'm probably going to bring these guys back. This is really cool. So let's try to get the caller on the line. Hold on just a moment. Okay, caller, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Can you say your name, please? And do we have Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller? Are you there?
Yes.
Everyone's here?
Yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Name of the caller, please.
Cammie?
Okay, Cammie. What was your question?
So my question is, I'd like to know more about the worst experience you had in this situation, additionally the best experience you had, and then any advice you'd have for people that are specifically African Americans that are trying to break into this industry.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I can answer the worst. The worst
I want details.
And you guys, just so you know, Lenny, double Lenny. I'm just gonna call you LTM squared at this point, just to make it faster. But what I'm gonna do, we got to roll through these questions really fast, because I want so many things answered. So let's answer that question though.
The worst experience we had, believe it or not, was Laguna Seca in Monterey, California, May 4th, 1974. It was the worst racism that I ever experienced in auto racing. Believe it or not, Northern California, and Willie Brown, who was then the Speaker of the House of the state of California, had to get the manager of the racetrack fired.
Wow.
And that was the worst. That was the worst racism I've ever experienced in Northern California. I was in shock.
How can you be in shock?
It'd take an hour to explain it.
Okay, okay. So then, that's the worst. What about the best? What's the best experience being an African American auto racing frontier? I would say.
The best experience for me was the Long Beach Grand Prix. Again, in California, the best experience was in California, being one of the top 60 teams in the world. We're properly sponsored, and we raced against the Grand Prix drivers on invitation only. That was the biggest accomplishment that that I have had.
And Cammie, what was the last? Oh, go ahead.
And I think the caller, she wanted to know,
Yeah.
like, what advice would we give other African Americans as the third part. It's like any other endeavor, you know, whether it's especially high risk and complexity, it's just persistence. You just have to believe in yourself. You constantly network and find people that can pull you up the ladder, and be prepared with, presentation skills and how do you present the added value to whatever you're selling or developing, and you just have to stick to it. I mean, you just have to go through 1,000 no's to find the one yes, and that's a general rule for any endeavor or any career with, high aspirations.
And I'm going to say something that I don't usually say at all. To get sponsorship from individuals, be black female first, white female second, foreign-born white men third, fourth, white money males from America, and fifth, black males. In that order, that's where the money is, and that's another long hour conversation.
Well, I'm making you guys come back right now because my lines are lighting up. We already have another caller too, so it's like you guys are obviously coming back.
Okay. All right.
So let's just hang up next caller in. We've got it looks like Rick from North Carolina, so I'm going to try to figure this out real quick. So 1 second, guys, okay? Thank you, Cammie, by the way, for calling in. We appreciate your questions. Okay, and it looks like we have... Okay, caller, are you there? Hello? Caller, do we have you? Okay, guys, you still here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay, so let me try this one more time, okay? My whole board's lighting up. 1 second. Okay, is everybody there?
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, caller?
Yes.
Do we have everybody? And caller, can you please say your name?
This is Rick.
Hi, Rick. Okay, so did you have a question for these guys?
Yeah, no, I'm calling from Charlotte, North Carolina. I think this has been really interesting. I came from Minnesota and didn't really know much about NASCAR until I moved down here and got to go to a race a couple of years ago. And I just wanted to say this is really an interesting conversation, and it's a great subject that usually people don't talk much about, and I never knew much about, and I've just been kind of trying to get more, interested in the sport and know more about it. So I just wanted to say I appreciate the topic.
Oh, thank you. Well, we're really excited to have him or have them both here. So thank you for calling in. I'm going to roll right into these other questions, guys. We got tons of stuff before, and we're running down about 6 minutes, okay? So
great. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. Rick from North Carolina.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, gentlemen, you there?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. So I'm going right in. So either of you can answer the questions. Big athletes and celebrities. Okay, obviously it's hard for African Americans to get into auto racing. We've made that. That's not like I'm not confused by that right now. But why are celebrities like my favorite Michael Jordan or people like Randy Moss, major African American celebrities? And why are they putting millions of dollars behind a black effort? I mean, why are they? Because correct me if I'm wrong. I'm doing research. I'm new to this topic. So why are they sponsoring white teams and not black teams?
Christine, we have found since 1970s, starting with Charlie Pride, the great black country singer, up to Randy Moss and Michael Jordan. In NASCAR only, black athletes and entertainers have put in $50 million. I'm going to say it again.
Total?
Total $50 million.
Wait, what about? What does $50 million get you? Nothing in auto racing.
And in the black for black racing, Lenny and I are the only two persons that put in money behind the black racers. I'm talking about personal money. I spent $2 million racing. I mean, this is not running any diversity program, or this is not sponsorship money. We go to race, when we go to win. But it's very discouraging to me when our athletes, black athletes, and entertainers will put $50 million into white drivers, and not that I don't mind that, but if entertainers and athletes put half, $25 million in the blacks and $25 million in the whites, I have no problem with that. No problem at all. But to take all the money, and put it in over and with other folks and our own people are starving. I don't understand that. I really don't.
Right. Well, no, I don't get that either. And this is really interesting too, because I mean, wouldn't you want to make a difference? But like we had discussed earlier, that's not something that most people do. Most people aren't going to be the first person to go in and make a change. That's why we don't have 20 million Martin Luther Kings. And I also, I just want to address this too, because we are, like I said, we're down to 3 minutes, and I'm just going to fire these off. President Obama invites NASCAR drivers and their race cars, to the White House lawn. But some of the drivers from NASCAR publicly admitted that they didn't vote for him, and some of them, if I understand this correctly, didn't even show up in an effort from the Democrats to gain Republican NASCAR. I mean, what is going on here? Is that true?
Yes, that's true. That's true. President Obama tries to reach out to everyone, but every time he puts the NASCAR Jimmy Johnson and other drivers on the White House lawn, I know 50 black racers in California alone that cry. They just literally cry when they see that.
I know. Okay. Well, now that we've kind of brought to the forefront, and I'm bringing you two back on for sure. I mean, my board's lit up, whatever. People want to know about this topic, and we're coming in raw. This is what honesty feels like with Christine Sawicki. There's obviously racism in the sport. But I want to, because I don't want to be a complaints department, like welcome to the complaints department. What are your solutions? Being inducted to the Black Athletes Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we have plenty of solutions.
What are your solutions?
Some of them are in the books, and both books are still available on Amazon.com.
Yeah, where can people reach out to you too? Where can they find you? Websites, list it all, guys. We're down to 2 minutes. I want people asking you questions, and like I said, I'm bringing you back on, but solutions real quick too.
You don't have a website.
You know.
You know what? That was on Jay Leno. You don't have a website. That's true.
Lenny's on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook.
But I'm on Facebook. Lenny Miller. I'm contacted there, and then the books, both books again, Silent Thunder and Racing While Black, are on Amazon.com, and in the Kindle version as well.
And in the Kindle version. So again, name one solution that you can think of off the top of your head. Like I said, we're bringing you guys back, that's for sure. But
yeah, one solution for us is to compete over in the IndyCar and the sports car side, and then to get the money and the sponsorship. Now that we're in a global economy, is to go outside of the country and come back in. So get a multinational company that's based in Europe or China that does business in America with their products and other places around the world. And they don't have the culture that includes the ceremonial diversity divisions in that mindset that we always have to try to, leapfrog over. We would go outside of the country for the sponsorship, and then race in America with a multinational company.
Well, thank you so much, Leonard W. Miller and Leonard T. Miller. You heard it here first on with what honesty feels like with Christine Sawicki. Racism in auto racing and being an African American. What a solid interview. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I can't wait to have you back on. Thanks for all the listeners and people that called in. Join us next week with What Honesty Feels Like with Christine Sawicki. Thanks, guys.
All right.